Dear fellow truth seekers, thank you and welcome for visiting my channel, MythoReligio. MythoReligio is a series of books about religious comparison studies between the stories in Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Hinduism and Buddhism, directly from their sacred books and world mythologies, hence the name MythoReligio. The purpose is to retrace the prehistory of humanity, since I am not fully satisfied with either the explanations from the point of view of creationists nor evolutionists. There are so many missing links in both explanations. If you feel the same, then you are on the right channel. In this book series, I will also analyze about the prehistory of humanity from the archaeological records, modern scientific point of view, and other alternative theories, such as the ancient alien theories and Atlantis or Lemuria legends. After thorough research of circa 30 years, I recognize many similarities between all religious stories and even mythologies, and surprisingly, some of them are in accordance or even beyond modern science that have been proven as correct. Thus, I came to the conclusion that all religions must have come from the same source. And all these religious stories and mythologies, although heavily jumbled up, are actually telling one mega story, the true prehistory of our common ancestors. This mega story is quite different than what we have been told to believe and will truly blow your mind, as it is more fascinating than our imagination. If you have watched the earlier videos in this channel, I believe you can see some of the similarities too. If you haven't and you truly want to do a religious comparative study, I suggest that you do so. The best way to do a comprehensive religious study via this channel is by watching the videos starting from number 1 and continue until this present video and so on. That way you will see a clear pattern. For deeper analysis that I cannot share in this platform due to its sensitive nature that leads to the above conclusion, kindly read the books that are available in ebook format that can be found in my website www.mythoreligio.com or the physical books at Amazon in color or black and white version. Science versus religion. Is science always right? Dear fellow truth seekers, for the last few weeks, I have shared with you the scientific theories on the origin of life, i.e., the neo-theory of evolution and the Big Bang theory, for our religious versus science comparison study. I did this in order to find answers to the questions that are not answered satisfactorily by religion. But is science always right? Although it is amazing how far our scientific knowledge has advanced today, the answer to this question is a definite no. It is a historical fact that scientists have a lot of obstacles in unraveling the mystery of the universe, life, and our origin. As we have seen in my previous videos, science has offered many theories and has also made many mistakes. The history of science is so complicated. It is definitely not a straight line progression. Science that is generally accepted today has many false turns and blind alleys that scientists tripped across in the process of discovering what we believe at present. Up to now, our scientific research in cosmology and the origin of life is still far from complete, and probably will never be. In fact, the same goes for every field of science. Although, it seems like we are getting closer and closer to the truth. However, looking at the many scientific theories that have failed in the past, is it not possible that there are still some theories today that are not entirely correct yet? So, up from this video onwards, we will analyze deeper the modern theory of evolution, which is the most prevalent in the scientific world concerning the process of how a living organism came to be the way they are today. This theory does sound convincing. Before I read books that challenged it, I didn't have any doubt that organisms evolved the way the theory explained. When we look at the pictures presented in evolution books and see the similarities of one living being to another, it seems like evolution is the definitive answer. Personally, it doesn't matter to me if we are truly descendants or having the same ancestors as apes. I just want to know the truth. For most layperson like me, questioning a scientific theory could be very intimidating. Mostly it is because scientific theories use specific terms that most people have difficulty in understanding. But once these terms are explained in everyday language, we could actually understand a lot better. Then it becomes less intimidating. However, it is still very risky for me to make the following several videos using only my own words. Therefore, I'm quoting and using sentences from many sources. Yes, I'm not a scientist, but that doesn't mean I cannot read scientific books, think and question scientific explanation, right? Especially as we have seen, scientists too have made many mistakes in the past, and will most likely continue to do so. I was really amazed to find out that even Einstein had made several mistakes. Well, of course, he was also only human. Although most scientists today believe in the evolution theory, the truth is this theory actually still has many unresolved issues. There are still many debates going on even among scientists. Therefore, today there are many variations of this theory. This theory is definitely not a done deal, nor as clear-cut as we are led to believe, even though it is taught in most schools and universities worldwide and presented as the truth. To see the unresolved issues, we need to go through the detail of the theory one by one from the beginning in the simplest manner. So let's begin. From atoms to cells. The theory of evolution explains that life on Earth started from simple cells to diverse living beings, from the simplest being to more complex. So, what are the smallest non-living and living things? Matter is physical substance or material that occupies space and possesses mass, especially as distinct from energy. So, mind and spirit are not matter. All matter in the universe is made up of different kinds of elements. There are about 100 types of elements. Common examples of elements are iron, copper, silver, gold, hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, etc. Elements are in turn made of atoms. Atom is the smallest particle, a minute portion of matter of a chemical element. Arguably, atoms are categorized as a non-living thing. Paradoxically, all living things are made up of atoms. Atoms are so tiny that they cannot be seen with the naked eye. Only a powerful microscope will reveal these atoms. For an illustration, a pinhead contains about 10,000 atoms. The word atom comes from the Greek language, which means unsplittable or undividable. This is because the early Greek philosophers believed that the universe only consists of matter, and according to them, if something was divided continuously until it could not be divided further, the last bit was an atom. An example of an atom is oxygen. When two or more atoms bound together, they become a molecule. An example of an inorganic or non-living molecule is water, or in chemical symbol is H2O. It consists of two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen. Amino acids are molecules containing key elements of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. Amino acids are critical to life. They are the building blocks of proteins. Proteins are organic or living molecules made of amino acids arranged in a linear chain and folded into a spherical form. Proteins are essential parts of organisms and participate in virtually every process within cells. Nucleic acid is a macromolecule, meaning very large molecule, which carries genetic information within cells. An example of nucleic acid is deoxyribonucleic acid, or DNA. Cell is the smallest unit of life. It is the functional unit of all known living organisms. An organism is a living thing such as animal, plant, fungus, human, etc. An organism may either be unicellular, single-celled, or be composed of, as in humans, many billions of cells grouped into specialized tissues and organs. The term multicellular or many-celled describes many organisms made up of more than one cell. That is how an atom becomes a cell, the smallest unit of life. Well, so far it sounds quite simple, right? But is it? Now let's go deeper. The truth is not as simple as that. We need to go back to the atom and see what is inside it. Quantum mechanics, a world inside atom. Today we know that atom is not the smallest thing there is. When scientists were able to see the inside of an atom, lo and behold, another microscopic universe emerges, so to speak. Atoms still consist of even smaller three basic subatomic particles: protons, electrons, and neutrons. The nucleus or center of the atom contains the protons, which is positively charged, and the neutrons, which is no charge. The outermost regions of the atom are called electron shells and contain the electrons, which is negatively charged. These electrons revolve around the nucleus. In a similar manner, stars revolve around the center of gravity of their galaxies. In 1939, before World War II, the idea of splitting the atom, or atomic fission in scientific term, was born. And finally, the first atomic bomb blast in our history took place in 1945. Thus, inside these minuscule atoms hide an immense energy capable of destroying practically everything. Then later still in 1994, scientific research shows us that neutrons and protons are still composed of fundamental building blocks called quarks, with very unusual properties. The quarks are permanently confined by forces coming from the exchange of gluons, which is a hypothetical massless subatomic particle believed to transmit binding force. The study of behavior of energy and matter that predominate at the atomic and subatomic particles is called quantum mechanics. Among others, it studies how colors emitted by atoms in a discharge tube, familiar today as the light from a neon sign, why different gas atoms glowed in different colors, how much heat is required to change the temperature of diatomic gas, for example O2, etc. Needless to say, quantum mechanics is very, very difficult to understand. Honestly, I can only understand vaguely. What I understand is this: things get smaller and smaller than we thought. They also move in a different and unpredicted way as thought previously. Matter consists of atoms. Atom consists of subatomic particles that are bound by something massless, i.e. gluons, which exact nature still remains mysterious to this day. Thus, it can be said that the old understanding that the universe only consists of matter is incorrect. One thing seems to be sure. Research conducted since the 1960s consistently demonstrate that all the physical equilibriums of the universe in general and of our world in particular are intricately designed to make life possible. As this research deepened, it was discovered each and every one of the laws of physics, chemistry, and biology, of the fundamental forces such as gravity and electromagnetism, and of the details of the structure of atoms and the elements of the universe has been precisely tailored so that human beings may live in. Amazing, isn't it? Scientists today call this extraordinary design the anthropic principle. This is the principle that every detail in the universe has been carefully arranged to make human life possible. Einstein put it this way: God does not play dice with the universe. In other words, the universe is not random. Please don't judge me for not explaining clearly. Once again, I'm not a scientist. Meanwhile, even scientists say the following. I think it is safe to say that no one understands quantum mechanics. Richard Feynman, American physicist. We have made an enormous amount of progress in the last few years, but now we realize the greater depth of our ignorance. Dr. Stephen Giddings of the University of Santa Barbara. Furthermore, scientist Professor Richard Dawkins of Oxford University, during the opening of a global conference of big thinkers, said that our universe may be just too queer to understand. So I'm not going to continue deeper into the discussion about quantum mechanics, since it is beyond the scope of my understanding. And apart from that, what we need for our comparison study now is to see whether the evolutionist scientist's explanation concerning the emergence of various life from a single cell can be verified or not. Actually, we need to move further back and see how living cells were born from barren, lifeless Earth. Today there are several theories and hypotheses concerning where life began. For example, the primordial soup, the deep sea vent, the extraterrestrial origins, etc. In these hypothetical locations, scientists theorized how life arises from dead matter. How does something alive pop out of dead material? This is just as puzzling as trying to explain how the first matter, i.e. primordial atom or hot dense gas, appeared out of nothing and nowhere before the Big Bang, as if by magic, so to speak. The idea of something popping out of nothing and nowhere is very hard to grasp. It doesn't matter whether it is an atom, gas, a cell, or an elephant, right? The question remains, how did that happen? Where did it come from? That is what we are going to analyze in my next video. For now, allow me to thank you for watching and hope to see you next week.